Welcome back. On to our next short video. I've got my crossmember welded up. It's just sandblasted. Eventually it'll come back out and get painted. I expect I will have to add more to this. I know I will, I just don't know how yet. So we've got to get that thing in the hole. I ended up just taking my exhaust off. It's sitting over there. I've never fully welded that thing. Once I test fit the mufflers, I never went back. But you can see what the mud daubers did to that thing. I also had a transmission cooler here. It's now removed. So what I was trying to do was line up my crossmember with these two existing holes. What's going to be fun is this side's pretty decent as far as being flat. This side, from picking it up with the jack, this whole flange kind of aims up a bit. It's not as bad back here, but you can see right here for sure where I've picked it up and it's bloop. So hopefully it will go in. It is the exact width of the inside of the frame, I hope, which means I'll have to fight it into the frame. So I'm going to put that guy in here and we'll see what it looks like. Here we are, sitting in there. It didn't take too much persuasion. I mean, I used a decent sized hammer, but really didn't take too much. And once it plopped in place, looks like I got everything pretty decent on the fit. Pretty good. What was that? Extras. So, we've got our drive shaft sitting on here. Obviously, this will not work at this height. Right now, let me back up. Right now, from transmission to carrier, we're going downhill. And from carrier to axle, we're a little downhill, but slightly flat. But we're not sitting at ride height, we're sitting at full droop. So I got to get the jack under the axle so we can really look at it to see just how far up this guy's going to end up having to go. And we'll have to build a bit, but it actually seems, now that it's shortened, and once it gets bolted in, I think this will be strong enough just to build something off of. I figured if I had to, the exhaust is going to be over here, but I could always, however it needed to go up, I could always bridge from here, come over, down, kind of triangulate it a bit if it needs a little extra. But I think I'm going to drill some holes and go ahead and place it. I get the tape measure out and get it bolted in so it's more rigid. Right now you can see it's a little behind the holes. There we are, right there. But once this goes up, everything kind of swings back. So I think when it's going to be where it goes, it's going to be fairly centered-ish. So we'll see. Alright guys, it's kind of hard to see, but I've got drive shafts bent in. It's all beautiful. Hooked up to the rear end. I've got this drilled and bolted in with just 4 5/16 bolts per side. I think it's pretty stout. I've offset this. The engine and trans is offset about 3.5 inches to the passenger side. I offset the carrier about 4 inches. I might go a little more just to get the drive shaft straight to the rear end. Since it's got CVs, and I agree with them, it really shouldn't matter too much, so I'd rather that be straight and the front section be a little off. We're going to go with a 2-inch riser. I'm just going to make something to come up and over and down, and I'll put slots in it so I can move this around a bit. Right now, the rear end is sitting at 1 degree downhill. The truck's sitting pretty level on the stands, or was. So I don't know how many degrees downhill I'm going to run. The perches still aren't welded, so I can still rotate it down. I can rotate it up. I do have traction bars. We shouldn't have big axle wrap problems. But from my understanding, they'd run them downhill a little bit, so when you're under throttle, it will straighten up and the drive shaft gets straighter. At least from a kind of. But I've also heard, and I agree, that if it's downhill, And when you put power into the U-joint, it wants to straighten itself. So when it's doing that, it's trying to twist the rear end, and even with traction bars, that's transferring pressure up through, whatever you want to call that, the cantilever there, up into the front leaf eye on my setup, transferring pressure forward. So I know they have run them even more down to increase that, but I don't fully understand it. But I built those a while ago, and they've never been tested on my truck. My buddy Jeff has them on his truck. I made pretty much the identical set, and they work all right. But since I made them, I can always change the geometry. All I gotta do is order a couple pieces and blast them together, and there's lots of stuff to play with, but never ran them. So for the moment, I think we're all right. Also, if I didn't mention it, my perches still aren't welded. I've got to remember that once I set everything. I still got to get left to right, correct, get the twist where I want it, and get them welded. So 2-inch block, up, over, down. I tried to put the holes here where I thought they would line up, and I just centered it because I didn't do any measuring, didn't think hard enough about the engine being offset. So if I had thought about it and knew how far off, I would have my holes here, and I did that intentionally so that I could put a socket right through it to tighten it. But since I made a mistake and I got to make the riser anyway, it'll just be fun to get the bolts in, but not the end of the world. So that's where we're at now. But I think it turned out pretty good. It feels pretty stout. Well, that's it for this one. If you do have more experience with pinion angle and those such things, leave a comment. I would like some help. I can Google all I want, but you don't know who's experienced you're really getting that from. I guess you get the same thing in the comments. But at least I can converse with you. If you have a comment on what you've ran and what you've seen, we can talk about it. Kind of guide me to the direction I need to go. It's a street truck. I don't want to run a bunch of pinion angle. I don't want it wearing the hell out of itself just for that. But I don't want to weld it all up and regret it after that I didn't think a little harder. So if you know anything, share it. But that's going to be it. I've got to go upstairs. I got to get back up to the house, draw that piece up, get it ordered. It's easily a week and a half before that comes in, but not the end of the world. So I'll have to take the bolts out, take the crossmember back out. I guess I'll fit it up first. That's the ticket. Fit it up first, mark it with a Sharpie where it's got to get welded on. Then we'll take it out. So once I blast it on, I can paint the thing, jam it back in, hopefully for the last time. My exhaust isn't going to work. It shoved the mufflers up into the cab, or up into the floor, so it's not going to work. And it'll be all right. It's already sitting on the ground, so we'll make whatever we need to make. I will put it back out the bedside because I love it. But yeah, that's it. If you got any pointers, let me know. If you enjoyed it, thank you for watching.